Hey guys, Remastered here, back with another Starcraft Broodwar Remastered cast, and today we have a ladder game for you between Soma, who is the blue Zerg, and he is playing against a barcoded Protoss. I do not know who this is. This is a ladder game from 2023, being played on Neo Sulfid. Alright, so some ZVP, for those of you who've been knowing me for a little while, my absolute favorite matchup. And I'm absolutely stoked to be bringing a game of Somas to you today. He is a Zerg player that a lot of people enjoy watching because he is just very, very aggressive, very, very creative, and very, very fun to watch. So I am more than intrigued to see what we are going to get today. So I realized in my last cast, I gave my viewers 24 reasons to subscribe. I had a laugh because my list of players, which I'll flash up for you now, that we'll be featuring over the next sort of 6 months or so, is actually only 21. So I need to make up 3 new reasons for you to subscribe or find 3 new players. Now I've managed to find one more, which is Mind, and I'll add him to the list shortly. But now I need to find 2 more so that I can make an honest man out of myself. And do indeed give you 24 reasons to subscribe to the channel. So if you're looking forward to today's game, if you watch me on a regular basis, please do hit that like button. Looks like we had an extractor trick into pull first from Soma, so definitely going to be a bit more aggressive. And it looks like we have a gateway opening here from our barcoded Protoss. Okay, so the micro skills will certainly be tested here because we can certainly anticipate some lings. As that Overlord popped and that pull finished, I mean, the timing there was just absolutely dead on precise. A set of 3 lings will pop and they will start to grief this incoming Zealot. Okay, so we're definitely going to see some Zealot micro. There's absolutely no doubt about that. The probe will come in and the lings are going to walk straight past this probe, and then he's going to know, okay, so my friend Soma has made some lings. He's going to put me under pressure. Behind this, he is making a 4th set of lings, so this is a little bit of a commitment to it. Looks like the Protoss is going to pull a few probes to hold this pressure. This is every Protoss's nightmare, man. Just the micro required here. Of course, Zerg does sacrifice some economic edge here, making it feasible to build the Forge before the Nexus, and for Protoss to not actually really lose out too much economically speaking. The lings do get around though, and they get us around on this probe. Oh dear. Okay, so we're going to have some Soma lings in our house, and really, really slow Zealots are going to chase after slightly faster but still very slow Zerg lings. Metabolic boost is not being researched behind this. There are a few more lings on the way, as we can see in the production tab. This is quite a commitment to lings from Soma, although his second hatch does come down. So he's very soon going to be a 2 hatching Zerg against a 1 basing Protoss, who's trying to hold off all of this link pressure, trying to constantly micro. You can see Soma playing at 400 APM. Very, very quick. This Protoss is no slouch, playing at 250. But it's going to be very, very taxing to keep tabs. More lings coming in here. My count now off the top of my head is 9 lings in the main against 3 Zealots. It's enough Zealots in theory to take care of the lings. The ling numbers are not insurmountable, even though here comes some more. It's just the micro that's required to do so. Behind this, it looks like our Protoss has not yet managed to throw down a cannon or a Nexus. So just putting all of his attention here, by the looks of things, into dealing with these lings. They're about to become speed lings. We see metabolic boost coming in here. This is not far away from completing. He is walling in a little bit to narrow the angles with which the Zerg can approach. So basically, you can only approach here. It's going to be difficult to get through. So it does focus down a couple of these pylons. This is just constantly taxing the APM. A cannon does come in here now. This is sort of walled in quite nicely, but this is quite a few lings. But I think this should adequately block off further lings if this cannon finishes, which will give Protoss an opportunity to stabilize. Protoss is on 19 probes. He had more. He certainly has lost a few from the constant ling harassment, especially now with speedlings. So he's up to 19 probes. The downside for Soma, although this has been relentless pressure, is that he is a Zerg on 8 drones. And he needs to now transition. He has got so many lings that I don't think he's going to be able to get into the front door here. So there's 3 lings still in the house, still constantly harassing, disrupting mining. This Protoss doesn't have gas yet, hasn't been able to progress with his build, hasn't been able to now, for the first time, only is able to throw down his Nexus. Now he's going to take gas. Now he's going to get his cybernetic score. So Protoss can get going with their build. The harassment from Zerg is important, I think, just to constantly keep picking away, getting some more probes, and trying to catch up economically. Because on the balance of things here, I think Protoss probably has an edge. I don't think Soma did quite enough damage, but obviously time will tell as we progress into the mid-game. So a third hatch does come here, so there is a very clear transition pivot from Soma, and I think he's going to drone behind the initial pressure. Be interesting to see if he does take a lair or if he progresses now into a Hydra build. There is, by the way, I see him sneaking around. There's still one Ling in the house, constantly running around, giving beautiful scouting information. So he's going to see the timing on the Stargate if Protoss does choose to go Stargate. And he's going to see the timing on the Citadel if it's a direct Templar tech tree that our Protoss chooses to go with. So what the heaps of Lings do is it basically means that Protoss is going to stay camped at home. And they're not going anywhere. So second cannon is coming up. This is just probably in the event that Hydras are the follow-up. It does naturally flow that it will be Hydras next. The Hydra den hasn't yet started at this stage. Looks like Soma's just hatching up. We are on... That's quite a pile of zealots, boys. That's seven zealots with more coming. So that should be able to take care of these Lings without a problem. The challenge that he might face is he's left the house and he's left the front door open. Okay, so the probes do block. There's two cannons here. I don't think he's actually going to get in. So nicely anticipated that the backstab would be a possibility. And now these Zergs have moved, these zealots have moved pretty much halfway down the map. I think a Sunken's going to come in here behind this hatch to create some protection. Also a surround on the zealots that have kind of strayed. So there's a few ahead, but there's two now that have to move back. Soma's Ling micro is really, really strong. The Sunken does just pop in time, but the zealots might actually just do a run by here. There's nothing blocking up this choke, and that's exactly what's going to happen. This could be catastrophic for Soma now. He really needs to pull these Lings that he has back. Here they all do come in force. Three are going to block up this choke, which is very sensible from the Protoss. And then the other three are going to fight the Lings that come out of just the one hatch. So I think it's now a matter of how many drones he's able to save. It's going to be drone drills. It's going to be micro. It's going to be the skills of the best players in the world. One zealot does die pretty quickly. I don't think he's managed to get a drone as of yet. And he probably has enough Lings to tie this up. The idea now would be to go behind the mineral line to at least be able to fight them without being surrounded, but I don't think he's going to quite get it right, although he does now. But Soma could just quite easily bring some Lings in from the other side. These guys have now moved in and are going to produce even more harassment and more pressure. There's probably about 5 or 6 drones here. So now his target will be trying to see how many of these drones he can get. Once again, he goes behind the mineral line. This is taxing the APM of the Zerg, absolutely. Potentially, I have a feeling that these zealots might be headed to the third base. Time will tell. Meanwhile, behind this, the Stargate is coming in, which is going to give Protoss even more harassment options, with Corsairs now taking on the Overlords without any apparent anti-air, although the Hydra Den is about to finish. So I think that would be Soma's solution to that problem. Meanwhile, these zealots are going to come up here, up this ramp. There's no Sunken here. And now the Sunken drops for the first time straight in the mineral line. This is a pretty even fight though, but it looks like the zealots are going to have the edge. 3 zealots are still here. Meanwhile, these zealots are just chilling here, not really doing anything, but just being a nuisance and a constant threat, which means Soma cannot move his Lings away. Corsairs as well, so it's harassment from all fronts from our Protoss. Drone drilling seems to be the only solution here, and he's done it pretty well. This should give the Sunken enough time to get up, so has to pull the drones, but there's the Sunken. That's the end of the harassment on the third base. The Corsairs are still largely uncontested. The first Hydralist does pop. Let's see how many, oopsie. These zealots are still just relaxing over here. That is quite something. So how many kills does that have? Just the one Overlord that we saw die. Alright, so he's now felt that he does have the freedom to move his Lings and to take on these zealots from both angles. He's got a little bit of a surround here. And I think he tied his zealots up without too much of a problem. So a very, very frenetic game. A lot of harassment and counter-harassment from these two players. We're a 4-gate... Templars is probably the progression here. I see the Templar archives in the production tab, so he's going up to his Templar tech. The Corsairs are constantly harassing. Another Overlord is going to go down. I think he's just positioning these Lings here as an early warning to see what's coming. I expect a whole lot of Hydras will be the next wave that's coming in from Soma. Lair is almost done. That does give him Lurkers. I think Lurkers will be very, very important to counter any immediate zealot pressure that can be expected. So now we've got speed zealots. I didn't see if they were researching +1. No. Is the forge spinning? Yes. Okay, so they're soon to be +1 speed zealots, which are going to be a major threat against what is predominantly Ling. But Soma, being a pro Zerg, has now basically walled his natural in beautifully. This is going to be very inefficient and very, very difficult for zealots to get in. And so he immediately pulls his zealots away, going, nope, there's no efficient trade to be gained there. Potentially could come up the ramp here. The Hydras could protect this one sunken, and that could be interesting. So he decides, nah, that's probably not what I want to do either. He's going to use his Corsairs potentially to harass some more Overlords. Meanwhile, some Lings are moving across the map. There really isn't too much to be gained here. There's 3 Zealots protecting the front door and 2 cannons. So the Zealots are kind of just moving back and forward, constantly keeping the Zerg on his toes. Hit that like button if you're enjoying this game. This is definitely a lot of fun. Why are you attacking your own forge with a cannon? I would like to know, especially when it is in the middle of an upgrade. Please don't do that. Your units can get around here. Kill that can. Okay, say stop. Has it just been a weird misclick? Alright, so Zealots are running around everywhere, looking for something to do, looking for something to kill. I expect the progression now into Lurkers. So Storm is being researched, Burrow is being researched on the Zerg side, all of the missile attacks and the Hydra based upgrades are being researched. So I expect it is going to be Hydras against Templar based tech like High Templars, Dragoons, Zealots, etc. An attempt to take a third base here from our Protoss is denied by the Lings of Soma. I don't think it's going to be denied entirely. It's more of a delay. Those seconds at this level really are significant. They do matter. Soma's sort of stuck in inverted commas on the 3 bases. He would need to go up to 4, but there's no ways he can expand with this massive Zealots. Wow, man, this Protoss is just like Zealot, man. No apparent fear of the Lurkers. Lurker aspect is coming in now. So Lurkers are going to be a very real threat very soon. You don't want to have Hydras out on the map, though. Zealots in this number are just going to chew them up and spit them out for breakfast. There could be a lot of damage done here if he doesn't get his Hydras behind the wall of buildings and his Sunkens. There's only 2 Zealots here. The rest are kind of just chewing up a few stray Hydras here. I think just a whole ton of Zealots coming down here could probably break through, but it's just going to be so inefficient. Yes, there's a little gap here, but those 2 Zealots pretty much died for free. I'll be very surprised to see if a Protoss of this skill level just throws what would be a lot of units in exchange for very few Hydras. The Hydras, though, are not fighting behind the protection of the wall. They're kind of coming out to play, which is exactly what the Protoss wants. So there's a bit of a split off here. So some of the Zealots are going towards his Hydras, some are not. But the High Templars could be real difference makers here. But there's a Storm. Nicely dodged, though. 2 High Templars gone down. Only got 1 Storm off. I didn't see them really do that much damage. This High Templar's trying to break in, but I don't think he's enough energy for a Storm because he hasn't put one down. The Zealots do get us around on the one and only Sunken that they can access. There is another Storm, but again, the dodging from Soma is really fast and really, really good. The Zealots are getting in here, but they are not achieving any penetration. Pulls the drones as well, probably to be a little bit more of a nuisance and to bug out the AI. This Sunken is still alive and doing great work. This Sunken is still untouched, doing great work. The drone rolls and the blocking is really, really good. I don't think this Protoss is achieving a hell of a lot here. 114 plays 92. Soma is more than in a good position in this game. Holding really firm there, and here the Lurkers come. Quick check. Is our robo here? Yes. Quick check. Where is our observatory? We do not have an observatory. Okay, so suddenly, if Lurkers rock up on our front door as Protoss, we have a serious containment risk. Where is your observatory, sir? I do not see observers in the production tab, and I am looking absolutely everywhere. I do not see an observatory being constructed. Okay, so our Protoss is potentially in a lot of trouble here. If Soma just makes 1 or 2 Lurkers, he has very few by way of goons, and he has no observers. And I think this relatively one-track minded approach of just making masses and masses of speed zealots was beneficial for a while, because it's just been very hard for Soma to get any real penetration with his Hydras. But it's going to become very, very problematic for him when a lot of these Hydras become Lurkers. Also, there's a Storm. I was going to say he hasn't really gotten done any juicy Storms, but there's the bad news for our Protoss. Hi, Lurkers are a unit. They're good. You can't see them unless you have detection. And now he finally pegs. Let me build an observatory. If our Protoss does lose this game, I think the timing on his obs is going to be a big reason for that. But for now, it's still 108 playing 95. Both positions still very playable. I think 49 probes across 3 mining bases, probably not optimal from our Protoss. But by the same token, our Protoss is looking to take a fourth, or needs to take a 4th quite soon. Soma takes it in a position that Protoss would probably want to take it, although Protoss would likely take it here. And Soma now moves from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basing Zerg. That's just going to be incredibly hard for this Protoss to stop. Okay, so does he have an observer yet? I don't see one. I see one in the production tab. Thankfully for our Protoss, there are no lurkers with this particular group. He brings a group of units across here to try and secure this base. This one's secured by a line of cannons. Should probably in theory be okay. I expect more cannons will come up here once this pylon finishes, and he's going to try and secure this position. I think Soma's going to enjoy a bit of map control now, knowing that Protoss is going to be very reluctant to move out because of the lurkers. This is going to buy him time to get this 3-hatch base up, but he kind of built these 3 hatches all at once, and this 4th hatch as well. So basically a hatch explosion from our Zerg, which is going to give him huge amounts of production power with 64 drones, which also was not that number just a little while ago. So basically a hatch drone macro explosion on the back of the lurker map control that he got. And now it looks like a counter-attack from our Protoss. Again, going for the natural. I guess he's hoping that the Dragoons are going to be able to open the front door here for him, because short of that, I don't see any way of him getting through. I think there could also be a very, very, very real flanking risk here. So we'll zoom out to illustrate what I mean. So they're going to come from the top side and from the side here. The lurkers are going to get in. I'm having a very tough time spotting the obs. There's the obs there. The zealots do break through though as a result of the dragoon, which is hugely beneficial. The lings are getting a surround on the goons, and the goons are starting to go down quite fast. We can see quite a surround from all angles as predicted, but there are so many zealots here. You cannot have your lurkers everywhere, unfortunately, and the zealots have got huge penetration here on this base. The Hydra Den is going to go down. This hatch is probably going to go down. A nice storm on those Hydras. That killed a fair few, and there's more storms to spare. But the Hydras are coming across here, and they're probably going to thin out the zealot numbers. This is really, really a nice, juicy fight. The zealots that are basically broken through are going to maybe try and take down the hive, or perhaps the priority target would just be drones. We'll have to see. But a lot of Soma's units are coming here to reinforce. Does kill a few drones. When this fight started, Soma had 64 drones. He's lost 20 drones as a result of this push on the natural. So certainly a profitable exchange, because the Protoss has actually moved into a worker lead, and behind this has managed to secure his 4th base. So the hatch does survive. The observer's in here. Soma does manage to get through all of that and have a 10 supply deficit. So just the ability to absorb pressure and to rebuild. He does have so much strong macro. Putting back those drones he lost is basically 1 round of macro, and he's back to where he was. So I think by no means a catastrophic exchange for Zerg at all, even though it certainly looked like it went really well for our Protoss. Our Protoss is actually now just on 3 bases. So perhaps as a counter to when this went through, that base was taken down with some lurkers and cannons. It was only supported by 4 cannons. So now, unfortunately, our Protoss is in real strife. Soma has just got so much macro. That 4th base going down is catastrophic. And you can see he's just run into a supply lead. Our Protoss just doesn't have the macro to beat our Zerg. And here comes Soma. Lots and lots and lots of Zerg. Lurkers. Some storms, nicely done. But there's so many lurkers here. The entire Protoss army is going to engage in a relatively inefficient position. Storms a lot of his own units, to be fair, as well as the lurkers there. But Soma can just reinforce and throw the kitchen sink here at Protoss relentlessly, and I don't think there's a hell of a lot Protoss can do about it. I don't see an obs here, unfortunately. That cannon died. Does he have an obs in production? Yes, he's got one in production, but he doesn't have one on the map. Here is his obs that's kind of just chilling there. So the obs does come into play, and Archon's leading the way. Probably not the best unit you want to fight here. Does pull back with his lurkers and could serve his units. Probably going to just regather his forces and push again. I don't think Protoss has a lot of choices here. Protoss has got to kill a mining base of Zerg. Otherwise, they're just up against too much macro too often. Behind that as well, they need to try and re-establish a 4th. Because that really was a clutch blow from Soma, knocking that 4th base down while absorbing the pressure here in the natural. I was just so fixated with this fight and what was happening there that I didn't see it was being knocked down at the same time. But that really was a huge moment in this game. So more lurker spines, targeting down the High Templars. To actually target fire with lurkers because he didn't have an observer is just unbelievable skill. Those lurkers could have fired at anything. They fired at the only unit that theoretically wasn't a threat to them, and that's just another class of play for sure. Okay, 139 plays 127, back up to 60 drones. A whole heap of hatch power, picks off an overlord for free, no big deal. Here sort of seems to be the central rally of all the units. Protoss pivots his army back around, probably to try and threaten this base. Good luck. Good luck is what I say to you trying to threaten this base. There are Sunkens here, a lot of them. You have to come up a ramp. And then if you do go there, your units are going to bunch up on each other and you're going to get flanked by the whole Zerg army. So our Protoss thinks, okay, maybe that's not the best choice. Let's go down this way. What base would you try and press? That's really just the big question here. Like, what can you kill? Okay, the Overlord, he hasn't got observer speed. I think he certainly missed a trick there because he's having a tough time with his observers keeping up with his army. So he has 3 obs here. This is a relatively decent engagement. We see more and more cracklings coming into play here. So perhaps a progression into Hive Tech, and the Hydras have sort of expired in their usefulness. It just seems to be a lot of Lings. Yes, he is building some more Hydras. He is morphing in 6 more Lurkers. And now it does look like he's going to be able to put some pressure on this base. There's some Lings coming in from the front and some Lurkers flanking from the back. If he doesn't have enough critical mass here, this is going to be hugely problematic. So the Lurkers eventually are going to burrow here, I hope. Okay, so the Lurkers burrow, but there's actually only 2 of them. Protoss does manage to move forward. Lings, though, are very, very strong against what is pretty much only a Dragoon army. A lovely storm on the Hydras, though, but they dodge it for the most part. Good storms again, though, so there's really, really thinned out numbers. But unfortunately, our Protoss has got a 20 supply deficit. He just doesn't see himself breaking any one of Soma's bases. So he GG's. A cracking S-rank ladder game. Very, very much enjoyed from Korea's 2 top players. I'm Rabidru. I really hope you enjoyed this cast as much as I did. I'm going to be here on a regular basis with many more of these to come. Until next time, ciao for now.